Hello, everybody, and welcome. Oh, good gravy. Of course, that stopped working. I'm not invisible, guys. I swear I'm here. You can hear me. Turned it off. What happens if I turn it back on again? Will I magically appear in my seat? Why, yes, I will. I gotta love Streamlabs OBS once in a while. It's super awesome. No, honestly, it's a good streaming software, and it's free. So, here we are. We are going to be playing through the beginning scenario for 7th Citadel. But, as you did see down on the table, I do have, wow, everything. Everything's like, no, we don't want to do this. Deactivate. As you saw there momentarily, activate. Let's see what happens here. I have 3 different threats that we can play after this. So I'm looking to play 2 characters, I think my plan is. And we're going to walk through this initial setup phase. Also do have a gin and tonic. Phenomenal. And I think we're going to do Arthen and Kasich. So I'm going to start out by grabbing their tiny little figures. And we have life counters for them. I'm going to leave out these dice in case I need them. But everything else in this little tray I have here, I can set off to the side. And I can take these characters, I'm just going to stick them right in front there. Nah, stick them over there. And yeah, let me know. Do you want me to do Datacom's Awakening, Drums of Desolation, or the Final Throw-In? All of these are options. I don't know much of anything about them, but if there's one that you've seen other people stream, so you want to see something else, let me know. I am not tied down to any of these right now. And I even doubt that we're going to get through this whole first scenario, introductory scenario. The Collapsing Lands. During the conflict between the hegemonic city-state of Kel and its rival Gadalrock, a new threat emerged from the ground: the Burrowers. Under the command of a mysterious master, these enormous worms tirelessly dug out underground tunnels, to the point that they caused the collapse of entire regions. Kel and the rebel cities of its protectorate had no choice but to call a truce and fight the creatures that threatened to engulf them. But the Kellian legions, just like the mages of Gadalrock, and the engineers of the Plans and Mechanisms Guild, proved powerless. All seemed lost. A glimmer of hope came from the ancient druidic clans. They renounced their sacred principles to create, with blood and forbidden incantations, plant abominations. the only effective rampart against the burrowers. Thus began the reign of the Necro-Druids. The War of Worms lasted nearly 50 cycles, so 50 years. And has irreparably disfigured the world. Despite their best efforts, the Necro-Druids and what remains of the Kel Protectorate are unable to stop the Worm Master, who remains unaccounted for. The collapsing lands, as they are now called, are drowned in a haze and dust thrown up by the burrowers. Plant monstrosities have spread, sometimes out of control, threatening the few surviving communities they were meant to protect. It is in a citadel, each Necro-Druid seat of power, that you are now exhausting yourself to care for these sacrilegious plant creations. As a slave gardener, you are waiting for only one thing: death by accident or exhaustion that will free you from this life of suffering. How long have you been in the Citadel? You've lost track of the cycles. The absence of a door at the entrance of your cell gives you a false sense of freedom within the tower, and occasionally leads you to forget that you are nothing more than a prisoner. You wake up to the bitingly cold morning bathed in pale sunlight, another long day of hard labor awaiting you at the sacred grove. One more day to add to your interminable existence, and one less of your life. Who knows? Perhaps this one will be your last. Suppressing a shudder, you think of that apprentice gardener, whose silly antics were a welcome source of amusement just yesterday. But now his mangled arm, torn from its socket, is fertilizing the plants to which he used to tend. The reckless boy had been clearing the ground next to a sardonyte, mistaking it for a rose of torment, without seeking assistance from a harvester. It has been drilled into you that the abominations created by the Necro-Druids protect the Citadel, and the remains of the Kel Protectorate from the burrowers. The belief is that, one day, they will help you win the war that has wrought chaos and decimated the once green and populous landscape. You have little choice but to place your belief in those stories, since you have not seen the outside world since your imprisonment. Hey, enough daydreaming. The ground trembles and rumbles more than usual. A sudden, violent blast throws you to the floor, shaking the citadel of the Necro-Druid Ninadazir to its very foundations. The southwest wall, with its dozens of cells, is torn asunder. Screaming prisoners can be heard over thunderous collapse as they plummet to the chasm below. Somewhere beyond the cloud of dust and the creaking pile of debris, additional explosions and streaks of strangely colored lightning flash across the sky. Amidst the acrid smoke, your eyes and burning your eyes and throat, you can see the faint outlines of other prisoners rushing out of your cell. A shrill ringing fills your ears, and your heart beats so fast that you feel it might burst. You have no idea what just happened, but your instinct bellows at you to get out of here as soon as possible. Gritting your teeth, you tense your muscles, getting ready to run. Welcome to the introductory scenario of the 7th Citadel. Each player chooses a character. So we have Arthun. Arthun remembers nothing before being imprisoned. With a mother that died during childbirth and no knowledge of a father, this made ideal criteria for being welcomed to the Citadel. A puny physique has proven to be an advantage on more than one occasion. Whether tending to the furthest reaches of the sacred grove or escaping the mortal clutches of the snare creepers. Filled with energy and enthusiasm, Arthur's jovial personality contrasts with the taciturn character of the other gardeners. When falling asleep after another exhausting day, Arthur cannot help but think of the mysteries and dangers that await beyond the wall of this prison, while knowing such optimism would be foolishness. Hope still glimmers. And then Cassock. So if you choose this character, you may take a 125 card before starting the adventure. And there's some story here. You suffered a nasty wound in the sacred grove while clearing land near the noble's pit. This is where the remains of illustrious individuals are buried, brought back over the cycles by the necro druid's henchmen, and where their most promising creations are grown. The apprentice who treated you was struck with the strangeness of the injury inflicted by the plant. Dutifully passed on that information to his superiors. In a truly rare turn of events for a humble gardener, you were summoned to the penultimate floor of the Citadel to be examined. While this meeting doesn't seem to have had consequences, you feel as though certain henchmen give you a persistent stare when you walk past them. So, this is a quest card. When you reveal a card on which an image resembling your mark can be seen, take a card whose number is equal to the number of your terrain card plus 145 if it's available. So it is a locked, and we're just going to pool our resources here to look at this. So like I said, that is, I believe, look back here. You may not choose to discard this card or give it to another player. So it is a purse item. It is something that I can carry. But now Cassock. Cassock joined the ranks of the last legion of the Bow. Driven by a sense of duty as well as a desire for wealth. The plains of Nezebi, the Sunset Mountains, the New Forest of Charmitimac, countless, incomparable battlefields. Combat prowess, as well as a staunch bravery, were the traits that caught the attention of top leadership. Along with some 60 other elite soldiers, Cassock was sent on a suicide mission that was supposed to mark a turning point in the war. The battalion ventured far into the subterranean abysses of Aber Amid, which was commonly regarded as the cradle of evil. After being ambushed and suffering significant injuries, Cassock managed to return to camp, accompanied by only 2 other survivors. No one knew how they made it back, and the reports and tales of their experience were disturbing enough to see them all detained and thrown into a citadel. To this day, Cassock cannot sleep without picturing what transpired, with thoughts that constantly search for an explanation that might ease the resentment. And this one is 225. Why? The question has haunted you along the road to the Citadel, and now it sneaks into your dreams. What did you do or see on your final mission that could have led your commanders to commit such an injustice? Although you have tried to suppress your thoughts through hard labor, you know you will only find peace if you understand the reasoning behind the sword affair. But where to start? Search in search of answers. Even if Ribic and the Owl, the only two surviving legionnaires, know something you do not, they have, at best, been taken to one of the other citadels, and you certainly will not discover the truth by remaining locked up. If you manage to leave this place, your best hope is probably in Aber Amid. But what are your chances of surviving? After all, 57 others, some who were more valiant and seasoned than you, met a brutal, premature end in that place. When you read a dialogue mentioning Aber Amid, take a card whose number is equal to the number of your terrain card plus 280, if available. So we've chosen our characters. We're going to continue here. And I'm going to set our life right now. 20 hit points for each. So, take 15 skill cards whose hand icon contains the character's initial. I have a big old stack of skill cards here. I'm looking for, like I said, 15 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I'm looking for C for Kasich. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I can remove all of the D's. Then five skill cards of their choice from among those with the letter X. Strength and stamina. I hope they have these sorted. The Art of War, Endurance, Parry, Weak Point, and Blacksmith. That makes sense there. And then Acrobatics, Sneak Attack, Accurate Shot, Lockpicking, and Stealth. You are free to choose any combination, so there are a few extra cards in there, but I'm sticking with kind of one of their planned ones. So now we shuffle all of these together. So hand size, max hand size is 3, max purse items is, max weight I should say, is 7 for both. Knocked everything nicely there. Let's give it another good shuffle. I do have sleeves for some of these cards. I may sleeve these character decks, just because these are going to be the ones that we go through most. Put that off to the side there. And now, each player draws 2 cards. Anticipation and parry. And then over here we have inspiration and flight. So this one has the ability to pull a couple cards out of my discard pile. This one I can handle with it, use it if it has a flight. This one allows me to gain some defense, it looks like. And this is where it is real handy having this. So cancel. And this one, during your consequence step, shuffle one card that you have revealed back into your action deck instead of discarding it, then discard this card. So then it tells me get out number 10. We can't do some things yet. We can't use the Citadel leaflet. And tip, during the introductory scenario, you may obtain up to 7 Hope Reborn cards to be spent later to evolve your group on the Destiny page. It tells me to stop reading, so we put the bookmark in, close the book, and I need card 10. Your cell measures barely 15 feet across. Your cellmates are shoving each other out of the way or to get out before the upper floor collapses into your cell. On the other side, the room is opened into the void and the chaos of the garden below. A definitive way out for your fellow inmates whose exhaustion and despair have driven them to end it all. I will zoom out if need be. From what I remember, it kind of builds like this. So we're going to place it here. And we place ourselves on here. So we have 3 different checks that we can make. The first one, well, all of them corresponding to potential different types of actions. So this one is spot and observe. This one with the open door is search. And this one with a map and a sword is go see/visit. So I can pick who I want to start with. I'm going to go up here. Technically, it's all on the same map. So I'm not really spending movement. It's very free form. And it tells me to do 14. So I pull out 14. And let me see one thing quick here. There's a symbol on this one that basically says, these two say, if you come back here and do them again, and the card is in the past, you can cycle that back in, do it again. This one is a one-time thing. Another tremor violently shakes the Citadel, bringing dirt and debris crashing down from the ceiling. The air is thick with dust, but you make your way but you can make out a buried body underneath the rubble. Grunting with effort, you manage to pull it free. You recognize Taja, an affable girl who has shared your cell for several cycles. She is unconscious, her brown hair thick with blood from a nasty gash on her forehead. Bending over, you can hear the faint sound of her breathing. The other prisoners fled without a second thought. Will you carry Taja away to safety or leave her to her gruesome fate. So, now there's a new action to perform on this card. And I can continue with this character. It's, I can gently lift her up. It requires me to take 2 or more cards, like so. If I needed, I have a success here. You can see I can create a star. However, the number of stars for the success is 0. So that's just going to get discarded for me right now. You know what? Let's move where I'm at so you can see this a little bit better. So you can see my drink. So I've discarded that. She's pretty heavy. So now I need to look up what the skill card. So I can add one of these skill cards to my hand. So this one allows me to reduce how many I draw, or this one's just an automatic success. I'm going to take the automatic success. The other one goes up here to my discard. Then I take card number 11. You grit your teeth as the body over your shoulder grows ever heavier and your arms begin to spasm. If only you could be sure that Taja would survive her wound. Rocks smash on the floor, sending fragments flying across the room. It's high time you made a run for it. Unconscious Taja. Your body aches with fatigue. So, this is saying whenever I do a move or backtrack, or a run or flee, during the consequent step of that, it requires that I get rid of 2 cards. So basically, it's spending cards, it's spending my energy quickly. But now this card is not in the past, is in fact banished. Now I'm going to come up here with Arthur. We're going to look at 12. You walk to the back of the cell and stand at the ledge above the void. You glance down to the sacred grove in the center of the garden. A gust of wind nearly makes you lose your balance. Looking up, you are speechless at the scene unfolding before your eyes. A gaping hole has been torn in the wall of the Citadel, which is now gutted. You are shocked by the terrible sight, but a spark of hope awakens in you. Freedom finally seems within reach, so long as you can escape this place, in one piece. Immediately after this is revealed, if an involved character has the keyword cumbersome, take 17, otherwise take 199 card. Hope Reborn. So, actually tells us, suggests that we set out this. You know what? I'm zooming back out. Quickly. There we go. This is a quest. Quest items. Hope Reborn. So the interesting thing is I can come here. This is not a one-time thing. It doesn't tell me to get rid of this, My friend with cumbersome can come here, and because he has cumbersome, he can take the 17. Oh no. Weakened by the tremors, the floor stone slabs crack under your feet. Crumbling floor will not likely support you and the heavy load you're carrying. You have no more than a heartbeat, maybe 2, to react. During the following action, the active player is whomever revealed this. So, that's going to be Kasich. It looks like everyone has to be involved with this. So, we need to draw 2, looking for 2 successes. Otherwise, there is a failure. So, minimum of 2. We're going to draw 3. I guess I could have used determination to guarantee a success. We have Art of War, and we have another one here. So we take a 150 card. You are focused. At any time, you may choose to return this card. To return this to you, return your You Are Confused card. Choose one card from your discard pile or action deck and add it to your hand. Selected, return this. I'm slightly confused to what that one means. Let's see if they have some words in here. We have return. Selected. When this word can be seen between brackets on a purse card, you must apply the associated effect if you have selected that card during the gear up step. And then return, I think, just means return. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So then, this is a temporary one. It goes away. So I can actually pull out here the past. That goes over here. Basically, it's a way to set aside cards. Well, now we know what everything is. Let's come over here. Let's have Arthur do number 15. Dozens of prisoners run past your cell. You're about to run after them when a terrible crash deafens you. Tons of stone have dropped into the corridor, filling the space with thick, billowing dust. Wailing and cries for help echo throughout the corridor. So we have the corridor over here. So you can see whenever there's an arrow, it attaches to a specific side of the location. So Arthur is just going to spend a card, because that's a requirement here to spend 1. You rush out of your cell after your fellow inmates. No matter what happens, you swear you will not set foot in there again. Discard this and replace it with a 15 card. Each involved character moves their figure onto it. So I can have had both characters involved with that. Which is nice because now we're there. To my understanding, even though we have the unconscious character, oh no, that is that type. So I need to discard 2. So even though I had 20 cards, I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards to go. We have a few different things over here that we can do. But before we do any of those, we're going to add a new type of card to the game. We have locations now that we can go to over here. And it tells us to add cards with a specific symbol. Here, these are basically fog of war. We don't know what's going to be coming up there. We just know something's going to be there. It's not going to be a simple trip. So, now we're going to look at another thing here. It has a diamond -1, so we have to spend an action card to move off here. With everything that's collapsed, this is difficult terrain. Let's send Arthur over here to look at 18. Is that a smart call? Doesn't require any cost yet. A gardener lies face down on the floor, moaning as he attempts to pull himself free from the rocks that have crushed his legs, leaving him in tortuous agony. The man stretches out his scrawny arm in your direction, giving you a pleading look. So, this with the chains again. During the result step of this action, the active player may take the successes shown on no more than X revealed cards into account, where X is the default cost for that action. Ow. So I revealed him right now, and I actually want to then bring Kasich over. Why? Because Kasich has determination. So I can use that to give myself 1 automatic success. So I am at 1 success now, and I need to get 2 more successes. I'm going to draw 3 cards. I'm going to go big. I'm going to draw 4 cards because there's some dialogue here. So half, whole, half, half. I can get up to 2 successes. I needed 3. Let me see one thing here. Where is it? So that's just a class icon. Unfortunately, having this doesn't help. So even though I have 1, I can get to 2, I can get to 3, but that requires using all these cards. Alright. So, I'm actually going to use Anticipation to shuffle a card back in. So you lack the strength to pull them out. But I do get to add one of them to my hand. Second wind. You're going to take that in. It allows me to potentially pull a card back. So I take a 1. You are barely able to stand and would not mind resting for a few hours on a straw mattress, no matter how dirty it is. You are exhausted. Immediately after this is revealed, if you are already exhausted, remove 6. If I can find a rest action, otherwise I can do a rest action for 4. So the risk of having this one out here is that if I were to become exhausted again, I'm going to burn through a whole bunch of these cards. Now, interestingly enough, this guy's not gone. He's just... They recommend you put him up there. He's just really hard to get out of there. So I could try again. But if I were to try again, I'd probably want to use second wind, pull back that card, draw 3 cards again. And that, to me, isn't worth it right now. Instead, we're going to come over here with a travel. It costs no cards to just flip this. Another rumbling shakes the building. The ceiling begins to crumble, and the debris rains down around you. During the following action, the active player is whoever revealed this. So, can we avoid getting thunked? Ooh, second wind is better than I thought, actually. It allows me to pull 5 cards. I'm going to use that right now. 5 cards back to the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They get shuffled in. And then I'm going to take one at random here and add it to my hand. Then it's blocked. So this is a -3 on the requirements. So why might you want a -3 on the requirements? Some things have a high cost. It might be like discard 4 cards, discard 6 cards, whatever it might be. But you only need to get 2 successes. So I could play this to make the required cost lower in order to spend fewer cards. So that's our action over there. It is a must perform. So we're going to just do, not even going to do a card for either of them. Automatic failure. but I prefer not to lose the health. So now that this is done, it goes into the past, and we reveal card 31. A heavy door is double locked, which is hardly surprising. If a prisoner had access to this room, they might use the tools for something other than gardening. So we're looking for... So again, I can only use 2 to get 3 successes. I'm not ready to try that yet, I don't think. And it's worth noting, I should always be looking out for this symbol on a card. The game actually gives you, what's down here, something kind of cool. Let me set this out of the way. I'm going to flip over this last one in a second here, but you can see, give you a magnifying glass. So you can look around for numbers. Things that you might not have seen on the card that maybe would give you an advantage on something. But it's a cool feature. So we're going to come here, flip this one with Arthur, because even with all that good work of the second wind, Kasich is still much further down. And this requires a minimum of 1 to get 1 success. I'm going to do 2. I do get 1 success. You somehow manage... So, the passageway is filled with thick gray clouds of dust thrown up by the falling rubble. Your feet scramble unsteadily over the rocks on the floor, slowing your progress and making you check your balance on every step. So we do this. And I get to keep 1. I could do this one. Determination for success. Or save your energy. I'm going to do a determination because that is a success. So we succeeded. This gets discarded. And we take out number 19. Okay, that was way faster than I thought. So let's continue just a touch more. You make your way down the corridor, leaning against the walls to avoid collapsing with each new tremor. It is as if you know every slab, having walked these halls for far too many cycles. At dawn, to the garden, and at nightfall, exhausted, back to your cell. Strangely, you feel a mix of worry and relief as you walk through this familiar setting. By the end of the day, there likely will be nothing left of this place. So, now, I can do a move. Requires 1 card to be flipped. I get this one. It allows me to pull something to my hand. I'm going to just discard that one. I move here. Now, Kasich, because he wants to travel along with me, and he can apply that effect, or I can apply that effect to take him along with me. However, because he has an unconscious Taja, during the consequence step, he still must discard 2. We have 36 over here, and we have another location down here. So, I could continue. It's been about an hour, so I'm actually going to stop. One of the things you can do with this game is you can save it. I don't love the save methodology for this game, because ideally my plan is to have this set up on the lower level of the table. I don't need to save it, I can just leave it out. I'm going to treat it as if I just left it out. So I'm going to use these. I'm going to save the action deck. I'm going to save the discard, save the action deck, save the discard, stack up our characters here, like so. Stack up our characters here. I'm going to take this second wind, I'm going to flip it face down so I remember it's blocked. Especially since I have all these things. And then I'm going to do 2 things. Because I'm going to play next Wednesday. But I'm going to grab a picture of the map, so I remember. And then I'm going to stack it up. I'm going to stack it up in a particular order. So I'm going to put that on top. And I can pull this over. We have our character section. Then we have a save section right here with some character stuff. I'm actually going to take these, put them up front with the characters. And then I'm going to do quests and the past, just so I can maintain my save a little bit better. Now, by doing this, I've created a more complicated save system. Plus, I have these 2. They fit in there. And these guys fit in there. These dice fit in there. This guy, the front of there. Why? I just don't have to open this up again. But that is my first playthrough of the 7th Citadel. I'm digging this. I like the simplicity of the system. There's a decent amount of story. There's good kind of development of what you're doing. Obviously, this is the introductory scenario. You're meant to not fully know everything that's going on. With our backstories, at least for Kasich, he would know a fair amount. But with Arthur, she doesn't know that much about what's happening because this has basically been her life. Kasich was a foot soldier. Sure, he doesn't know a ton on it. But let me know your thoughts on this game. Let me know your thoughts on the playthrough thus far. Are you enjoying it? And I suspect there'll be one more session of this introductory scenario, followed by one of these 3. So we have the final throw-in. We have Drums of Desolation, and we have Didakem's Awakening. Pick which one you want to play for me, because I will pick that out and I will go for it. I can see this being a game that I sit down and actually do the whole campaign of, or at least a good chunk of it. because I'm digging the system. And there are certain things, we haven't really talked about it yet. We have our community, ground shiver level, production, defense, knowledge, influence. We have our destiny. So this destiny section is where we can potentially use those cards, I believe, to fill in stuff here. That's going to give us various boons. We have a nice map. I have a bigger map too. We have side quests. If we come across anything of note. And then it has this on the back. And we have a whole bunch of buildings. So some of these are like the grain silo. Grain silo, that's going to be a +1 to production. Or the baths. During the preparation phase, if you are at the Citadel, players collectively unblock 2 cards with keyword companion. So, different things that can happen, and we'll build through that, see what makes sense to go with. I'm so stinking excited for this game. I watched a playthrough that introductory scenario that Meet Me at the Table did. Check that one out. It is awesome. And actually, I saw a playthrough of some of this. I think it's been tweaked slightly back when this was on Kickstarter, that Gloryhound YouTube channel did. So check that one out too. Just see what maybe has changed or not. But let me know your thoughts on this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoy it. I guess give it a thumbs down if you don't, but I appreciate thumbs ups on it. And let me know your thoughts. And if you notice a rule mistake, please feel free to point it out. Leave it in the comment section below. I will try and pin those comments or respond to them so that I remember what I'm trying to fix and improve upon for my next play. My goal with these videos is, and maybe I haven't stated it super well, but my goal for these videos is always to play the game and have fun with it. So I'm not going to be the person to teach you the rules. I go through some of that as I play, but I'm not the rules teacher. If you want that, there are good videos on that. Serious Pulp, highly recommend their video on that. It's good. They still say read the rule book, so read the rule book. But if you enjoy this content and want to check out more, I would recommend subscribing, clicking that notification bell. That's going to let you know when I go live. Generally every other Monday. Right now it's about 8 p.m. Central every other Monday. And then Wednesdays, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central-ish, I'm going to be playing a game, and currently it's 7th Citadel. On Mondays, it's a mixed bag, what it might be. It might be Bugs and Buttons soon here. Or I might spend more time opening up Star Wars Unlimited packs. Probably not. I have a box coming. I'm going to open it up when it comes. Let's be fair. Or deck building with that. It might be that. This past Monday I played Stone Spine Architects. So it's going to be whatever solo game looks interesting. Clicking that notification bell is just the simplest way to know when I'm going to go live. And if you want to check out more content that I do, you can check out nerdologist.com. That's in the link. Link is in the description below. That's where I write articles about board games and all sorts of nerdy things. Has been historically with the mindset of what do you need to know to get into this? I'm kind of rethinking, trying to re-envision what that's going to look like for me in the future. So there'll probably be an article on that soon. And finally, if you like Marvel, I do like Marvel a lot. I'll explain how much I like Marvel. I have a podcast about the MCU, Marvel Comics, movie, TV shows, whatever Marvel information is out there, rumors about upcoming castings and shows and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, check out my podcast, 10 Min Marvel. But that, big thing I want to leave you with, comment. Which one do you want? Datacom's Awakening, Drums of Desolation, or The Final Throw-In? I don't know anything about any of them, so let me know which one sounds good to you. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Bottoms up.